Hey, what's up? It's Rashad Antonio. We are the MCU Collective here to talk about Daredevil Born Again, episode number 7, Art for Art's Sake,
Hmm.
all spoilers. This episode, okay. Episode is the culmination of two things to me.
What's that?
Muse dying. And and then two, kind of how this show is sometimes at odds with itself. All right.
Got you.
And that's the kind of the interesting part to me is because I don't think that we we don't get to see the totality of this because this was meant to be 18 episodes.
Yeah.
That's like the really like kind of I sat back and looked at it. I was like, oh, okay, this was supposed to be way longer than this. So I think the decision to have Muse kind of fast track like this is because we only got 9 episodes.
So for all intents and purposes, I like the show. I like the show for all intents and purposes. However, I think my biggest gripe is, Rashad, I feel like we're if we want to be honest, I think we're being cheated. I think we got cheated for what we would could have got from Muse.
Yes, because here's the thing.
Hmm.
Because the way the Muse, we're gonna talk about the episode, but like this is
Yeah.
the more interesting part to me.
Uh-huh.
We know that Muse dies. You know what I'm saying? Heather killed him.
Yeah.
Daredevil shows up, says that yada yada. But like
Hmm.
Muse, okay. The thing, my only gripe with this is because Muse was pretty much hyped up as the big bad,
Hmm.
and the way that Kingpin has been like presenting,
Hmm.
front facing to the public is that like I'm here for the city and I want to make sure that no vigilante. So he's really trying to be a politician, even
Yeah.
though he still got that dog in him. We seen last episode. He wants to be the like you said last episode. He wants to be a demagogue of New York. You know what I'm saying? And I
Hmm.
saw someone else mention that too. I was like, Tony was really on or something. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Great minds think alike. So with that in mind, I was really thinking, yo, Muse is about to spill over into the second part of this Born Again. So
Hmm.
season 2, but like because he really was just like being sprinkled in the first couple of episodes. Like, yo, somebody's drawing murals. Cool. Hey, somebody is randomly bringing a body to a place. Then we see
Right.
last episode. We see him actually putting in work and seeing him in Daredevil. You know what I'm saying? Get their first 1v1. I'm like, cool. We got our first boss battle. I'm like, good.
Hmm.
I'm good with that. And then when Tony, because the part that really messed me up was when, and I knew like, yo, they're about to get him out the paint. When I saw them fight again, I said, this is the last. I said, this is their last fight.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
and I was a little disappointed because I really wanted to see more of the character. Um, and just like what his motivations were, like how he built up to that, it would have been great. And that's another thing. I'm sorry. Another thing about this series that's kind of been its Achilles heel is that they have been telling more than showing. That's really what's been
And they really did that with this episode when it came to Muse
yeah,
or
because
Bastion, whatever his name,
because
Bastion.
we had to then kind of put stuff together to make up the story of
Hmm.
Bastion slash Muse. So you can easily tell that, what I'm saying, that
Yeah.
dude has some sort of, thing for Heather or whatever. Or even how Bastion came to the book signing early on, read the book, and he was really being super, super odd. And
Yeah.
then because they could have easily had like we could have easily interwoven some sessions with them. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like in between or just
Because
whenever, or just to establish some sort of rapport between patient and
and and
and
and
client. I'm saying
Yeah.
client and and the doctor. So like
Yeah.
it's like I don't like that part for me was like, man, we could have really delved into that.
Could we only see one time where he's actually going to meet her, and we don't even actually see the meeting. We just see that she opens the door and she's like, "Hey, come on," what I'm saying,
That's
"Come
what
on
I'm
in."
saying.
And but we did see the initial where he was at the book signing. He looked like a dirty, what I'm saying, bum dude or whatever. I'm just saying he just looked like a homeless, dirty bum dude or whatever. You know what? It's crazy because with the show is like with all shows, I always try my best to temper expectations or whatever. But I just felt like I said Muse was going to be a bigger part of this than what we thought. I what I'm saying? Excuse me for thinking this, but I thought along the way Muse was going to cause so much havoc and so much like, what I'm saying, anarchy in the city, with this, and then people finding out, oh, this man is using blood and what I'm saying, human organs or whatever to end up paying. I think it was gonna get to a point. I was feeling like this was gonna get to a point where Kingpin was going to have a truce with Daredevil because you see Kingpin talking all this crazy vigilantes. I don't want them, blah blah blah. Even when him and Matt had to sit down in what episode 2 at that diner, he says, if you even think about planning on, doing any more activities, I'm going to come get you. I was feeling like this was going to come to a point where Kingpin is like, I have no choice. I need you. That's why,
You're not wrong because like
right.
even in the trailer, like there's a scene somewhere where he says that I need it I need the devil back.
Right,
Isn't that
like
in one of the
I
trailers?
need you to be. I think so. I
Need
need
you
you
to
to
be
be
the
my
devil
devil,
again?
or so the
I like
devil is.
like so
Yeah.
so okay so that's the part that's really like tripping me. Like overall, this episode is a decent episode of television.
Mhm.
Like I'm not harping on that
Oh yeah, yeah.
and what happened, but like that aspect to me, because now you have who's the bad now. So is Fisk fully the bad? Because like Fisk ain't Kingpin. So
Yeah.
Fisk is okay. I'm trying to conceptualize how the show is gonna go. So we
Is it
got
Vanessa?
is it because we
Excuse me? Is it Vanessa?
is it Vanessa?
Vanessa.
I don't know. So like because even okay, let's say if it is Vanessa,
Hmm.
Kingpin still isn't like still hasn't shown the propensity to do anything
To get her,
harmful.
out of there.
He's not gonna get
Mm-mm.
her out of pain.
Mm-mm.
So there, because he truly loves her. That's the only thing that he actually loves.
Yeah, his biggest
Um
weakness is her.
so that she no, Vanessa
I
stays.
don't. I don't know.
So like the last 2 episodes of like who's your bad? Is it a task force? Because here's the dilemma and the logic that the show has to really figure out. Now that Fisk is mayor, Fisk has the anti-vigilante task force. The task force knows that Daredevil is like he getting back active.
Hmm.
Is the task force going to ask Fisk, can they hunt down Daredevil?
Right.
So now, does Fisk let them know, hey, I already know who Daredevil is?
Right.
Is he gonna have like this sort of like, gentleman's handshake and keep that secret? Like because that part for me is like it's kind of like a weird gray area that they're
Hmm.
gonna really have to like, for me, navigate very well, because if they don't, then it's like
And the biggest gray area is the fact that Kingpin
that's what is
know who
yeah.
Matt Murdock is, and that's Ned Daredevil is the blind lawyer from Hell's Kitchen. That is the biggest, and like you said, you taking out Muse, who could have been a bigger menace or a bigger problem in the city, like that,
I mean,
kind of,
he killed over 60 people. So like
yeah.
so he like there was I mean the literal writing was on the wall for him to
Hmm.
be like a really like transformative villain
Mm-hmm.
for Daredevil and for Kingpin. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is what I thought. Like I really thought that Muse was going to be the person that that brings Daredevil and Kingpin together
Yes.
under one banner.
Yeah.
So if that's not the case,
Ooh. Ooh.
they really like they I feel like they really wrote themselves into a corner,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna have to really figure out how to wiggle their asses out because okay, so either one of two things happen. All right, we just
What's
brainstorming
that?
here. Either Kingpin, I'm sorry, Mayor Fisk goes after Daredevil. You know what I'm saying? Or something pops off and Punisher reappears.
Yeah, I don't think we're done with him.
I don't think so either. But like
Mm-hmm.
we have to so then their focus is on
Mm-hmm.
the Punisher and
Mm-hmm.
not the Daredevil.
And then
So
too, what if the task force end up being like minions of the Punisher? Because you see, they already kind of.
yeah, I don't think it's gonna
But
happen.
then you right, but then you see the Punisher is like, oh, they ain't
They
nothing but
want
your
to
brother
kill a
fanboy.
bunch of fanboys.
They're fanboys. They they ain't new to this. They new to this. I'm true to this, type
Yeah,
stuff or whatever.
so
Yeah, what do we? I don't know. As far as the episode, so quick recap. Angela Ayala is in the hospital. She's recovering. She has already spoken to the cops. She don't trust the cops, but of course she spoke to the cops and told them what's going, you know what I'm saying, what it is. Kingpin's second in command, what's that man's name? Um
excuse me, Buck Cashman.
yeah, Buck Cashman is saying, "Hey, so this is what the girl said. She knows where he is. This is where he's at. All this, the police are looking into it. Also, she says Daredevil. And the Kingpin is like, well, how did she escape? Because the girl's like this and that. I was able to get away because she lost like she lost like a lot of blood. And like, well, how did she escape? And he says the guy's like, yo, Daredevil. She says Daredevil did it. Kingpin was kind of like, this mofo is back. And then the dude was like, well, there hasn't been any confirmation. He's like, no, he back. So in the process of that, you know, in the process of that, we just go through that Kingpin. Um, the task force goes and they go and search and they look and see what's going on at the lair, and they see that this dude bad. They say that Muse is a real crazy sick dude. After doing their due diligence and actual investigating, they narrowed it down to who what I'm saying, Muse was, which is Bastion. They
Yeah.
said his name's Bastion. They were the Asian lady who's part of the task force, I believe, she's reporting back to Kingpin, yo, this dude is kind of crazy. Like she explains to him this is what he is. He has been in and out of like psych rehab like about 6 8 times, Rashad. Like, and he's turning himself into this since he was like 10 years old. Like they say he went in at 10, he went in at 12, he went in at 15, 17, and like he went in again at 18, he went in at 22. And they were like, oh, this kid is crazy as hell. Also, too, like, hey, what you know about Taekwondo? Kingpin is like, I'm more of a boxer than anything. Fisticuffs, boxer. She's like, yeah,
Come
that's
up.
not. She's like, yeah, that's nice. This dude is like a Taekwondo champion. Like he is like one of the best in the world. He was trained. Like apparently he came from money too. And he
Yeah.
was he comes from money. And it's always funny that you always find in these shows and stuff. It's always the kid that comes from money. I'm the tortured soul, out here or whatever. And like the parents, wanted him to be athletic, and they hired like a Taekwondo grandmaster to train him. And we come to find out later that he was like, I ain't want to do this. They made me do it. But he became one of the best, and then the grandmaster ends up dying. And they're just talking about the things that this kid has done, and then they narrowed it down to who it is, and they say, hey, this is who we think it is. And also, too, he's going to see apparently a therapist in Heather. And that's when Kingpin was like, oh, not my therapist. Not my therapist.
she,
I
she,
need I need her I
she
need
been
her
doing
to
good
fix me.
work, yo.
I need her to fix me and Vanessa. And that's where that little part of the arc ends. On top of that, speaking of Vanessa, you see Vanessa is meeting with one of the Russian dudes, Luca, or what one of
Luca, yeah,
Luca,
yeah.
and she's meeting with him, and Luca is like, "Hey, things was better when you was in charge. You in charge, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody running nothing. I'm not paying this money, blah blah blah. This and that. It was better when you was in charge, Vanessa. You." And she's like, so what are you trying to say? And he in so many words was like, hey, let's take this mofo out. And she's like, are you asking my permission or this or that? And he's like, just whatever you think. And, you
Whatever
know,
you want to do.
whatever you want to do. So, just fast forward to the end of the episode, you see where she texts Luca, hey, Wilson is at this location and he is by himself. And what do we see at the end of the episode? We see Fisk at the at this location by himself at a restaurant like in the middle of the night, somewhere between midnight and 1 o'clock in the morning, eating a steak. And I'm pretty sure that was a good medium rare steak that was, there eating it heavy. Luca sees him and Luca's like, I'm about to end this dude. And Luca walks up, pulls the gun out, pop up. Thank you. Kingpin right hand man was in the shadows and popped him and killed him, and then says, um, ask Vanessa would she like something to eat. And it's crazy because it makes you think, Rashad, was Vanessa actually trying to kill Kingpin? Or because of how this happened, was Vanessa let Kingpin know ahead of time, we about to wipe this dude out and they're gonna clear out all the violence. So that's the Kingpin arc. Let's get with Matt. Matt, after, saving Angela, is doing what? He's taking a shower. His girl is there, and he's having a post beat down, cheek clapping session in the shower. But on top of that, he is still bleeding from the fight that he had with Muse. You know what I'm saying? And she sees these marks and is like, yo, you good? And he like, yeah. And so this is where you see where one reason why Matt put the mask down, and it's a problem that a lot of heroes have, that they have a secret identity. They're
Yeah.
trying to juggle too much stuff. They're juggling they're juggling not only their work life, their relationship, personal life, and their superhero, slash hero life. So they have like kind of, you see a first kind of argument, but not really. She's like, hey, look here, dude. You've been distant lately. You ain't been doing this. What's going on? What are these bruises? And then he does the whole, because of my circumstances, I bump into things, I do. And she's like, no, don't give me that crap. And Matt kind of breaks the ice and mood by saying, well, thank you, doctor. And she's like, don't do that, this and that. She's, I just care about you and I love you. And it's so funny when she said, I love you. I said, this man gonna say I love you back? Because he took
I
a
know. It
he
was
took
a,
a minute. He
this
said,
is very pregnant pause.
I love you too. I said, oh, all right, woo. I was like, all
It's
right,
like,
man. Got it out.
love you too, girl.
Love you too, girl. So then you see Matt also once again having issues in his personal life as well with his homeboy Cherry, the retired police officer that's the private investigator for the firm. Um, excuse me, for the firm that he has with old girl Kristen Duffy, McDuffie. And she needs to talk to him about a case, and he's like, "Hold on, give me a second." And he tells Cherry, "Hey, meet me off." Cause Cherry came in the office loud. Yo, man, you keep doing this. I thought we won't go. He was like, "Hey, man, not so loud. Let's whoa. Let's go talk." And she's looking like, "What?" And so they in there talking, and he's like, "Yo, you said you was done with this. What are you doing?" And he's like, "Look here, man. Hey, that itch came. I had to scratch it. It's
I
some
had to
stuff
do what I had to
I had to
do,
do what I had to do."
man.
And then he tells this dude, "Hey, go ahead and get your contacts to find out where this dude is, because he's out in the street and I know your people can find him." And he's like, "No, I'm not helping you with this. I'm out." And so he leaves. And then you see where Kristen and Cherry are having a conversation, and she's like, "I don't like being left out the loop. What the hell is going on here in this situation?" He's like, "Hey, you know how Matt, it's kind of a beating around the bush." I think eventually Matt is going to confide in Kristen, what I'm saying, what's going on. I
Yeah,
think
he gonna have to tell son. He
he's
gonna
got
have
to
to
tell.
tell. because
He has to, yeah.
he can't lose his job.
He
I mean,
can't right. He can't get kicked out of his daggone. This is a little nice little law firm he that they didn't put together. So he
mhm.
goes and talks to Angela, and she tells him what she remembers, and she was just like, "Hey, he was really excited about these pictures and all this stuff like that." Meanwhile, back at that crime scene that the cops had went and they saw, Daredevil sneaks in and he sees, and I said see, excuse me. He feels around and he finds the painting. And he started touching the painting and he's like, hold on. I recognize that pattern of this picture, this face this drew. Because earlier he did the thing with his girl and recognized her face. He sees that Muse knows her. He's like, oh snap. And that's when he goes to the that's what happens when we start to see the scenes where Muse, aka at the time Bastion, is meeting with Heather,
Heather.
and he's telling her like, "Hey, you're the best thing that happened to me. You know, this and that, blah 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 blah." And Heather is like, "This nigga is crazy." Like we know that look on the face when you like, this nigga is crazy. And she's trying her best not to, she don't want to say that to the man. So she's like, okay, well, tell me about this. And that's when he explains the Taekwondo story and all this other stuff and how he wanted to be an artist and stuff. And my man nose just starts bleeding out of nowhere. I was like, what is going on here? And then she was like, hey, your nose is bleeding. It hands him some tissue. He's like, oh, don't be afraid. He takes it and starts drawing, and that's what she put two and two together. It's like, oh, this is the crazy nigga that's out here. This is the crazy nigga out here drawing pictures. Oh, I've been meeting with this dude. I've been meeting with this dude for about a month or so, and and then he's just like starts saying like, "Hey, you allowed me to be who I am. You're the reason that I can shed this skin." And he's like, "You're probably wondering what your next move is going to be. You're trying to run." And he says, "Mm-mm," knocks her out. She comes too. He put his full Muse regalia on and is just talking crazy to her, and she's just like, yo, and he can't help himself. My man is ready to blood drain her and everything, but tying everything to get back together when Kingpin realized that Muse was having sessions with his, he
Yeah,
sends
his
the force
therapist.
there,
Yeah.
and like that kind of put it abrupt, but he did cut her from elbow to mid forearm to get her blood. Next thing you know, Daredevil comes in to save the day. They having a rumble. Heather is watching. She's losing blood heavily, and Daredevil gets vicious with this dude. And next thing you know, she gets an opening. She pulls out the blicky and put like 4 rounds in that man's chest. He
Bow, bow,
died.
bow.
He dies. Daredevil hears the task force coming. He does enough to stop, what I'm saying, to retain her bleeding. They come up and then they're looking around like, yo, what the hell happened in here? And they're like, look, it looked like somebody helped her out. Now
Yeah.
we get to where everything comes together. Kingpin comes upstairs. He comes to the scene. And the black guy that's like the, I guess, semi-head of the task force guy
Yeah.
is like, yeah, Mr. Fisk, it looked like it was gonna be a murder-suicide type situation here. And what happened? We don't know. But somebody was here before we got here and they did this. We ain't do this. We would have loved to do this, but Rashad, it was like, we would have loved to cause this violence, but he didn't. And then he was like, well, who was up here? And he was like, it was, we thinking it's Daredevil. And he's like, did anybody see him? No. He was like, okay, you guys saved the day. Kingpin is basically using what Daredevil did and saying that his task force did it. And what does this do? Because this is a political move. It makes him look like he is doing his job because he says, what was it saying? Fisk can fix it. He's trying to clean up the city. He does what they used to do a whole lot, me and Rashad know, in the 90s when there was a big drug bust of a cartel or something, and they put the drugs on the table. Like, look at all this we can let. They had all the muses, like some of his artwork, and they had his mask and helped the mask up. And Kingpin was like, "We will not have vigilantes. I'm here to keep the city safe." And that's kind of it for the episode right there.
Yeah.
And
That
like I
was the
said, quick,
episode.
quick episode,
It's quick, man.
impactful, quick episode. But I think me and Rashad was a little disappointed that Muse got got put up out of there as quickly as he was as a character because I was interested to know some more about him. I would have loved to seen a couple of a flashback or so of him, you know what I'm saying, him seeing how he became the tormented soul or the weirdo that he did become.
All right, here's my next question.
What's that?
Because when I was on Threads last night, I get my instant reaction,
Hmm.
and we already talked about the two. Muse is dead, and then Vanessa and Fisk. I mean, no, Fisk and Vanessa.
Hmm.
And my other thing was, Mayor Fisk wants a gold star. Like he really wants the city to adore and
Good
favor him
job, sir.
badly. Like what? Like okay. I really want to know what his motivation is for this because like
You want
we
to know who
kind of got
Mayor?
what you
You
got.
want to know who Mayor Fisk is?
Who?
This is a little sports reference. In my opinion, Mayor Fisk is LeBron James in his first couple of years in the league. He wants the adoration of the people. He wants the people to recognize that I am the king. I am the king, not the kingpin, but the king. I am doing good. Look at what I did. Pat me on the back. Let me know that I'm doing good. That's who he is. I know you LeBron fans are going to be upset at this, but that was LeBron James early on in his career. He cared too much what people thought. And Fisk really cares about what people think because he is trying to put behind him the kingpin persona because he cares about the city. And I think he do to an extent, but he cares about the city enough to where it's advantageous to him.
Yeah.
And he just wants that adoration and love. It goes back to what I said last week. He wants to be a demigod type figure to where his name rings out, you know what I'm saying, in the annals of history. Like, for example, in New York today, there's an airport named after the person they say is one of the greatest mayors of New York, you know what I'm saying, LaGuardia,
LaGuardia, yeah, yeah.
and
There's
stuff.
a LaGuardia and a JFK. So
Right,
yeah,
So he wants
yeah.
he wants that love. He probably wants wouldn't be surprised if there's an airport in the Wilson the Wilson Fisk Memorial Building or something, you know what I'm saying? So he wants that type of love and adoration, and he's willing to do just about anything to get it, except probably eliminate the person if she is a hindrance to him, and that is Vanessa.
Another thing too. Good point though. Another thing too. I really wonder what Lil Fisk is up to because he got a BB like super aggressive.
Hmm.
Basically told her, look, like you played me the first time, I get it, but
Hmm.
like I need you to make sure I need you to write up some good press for my boy, or else. And she's like, or else what? Nigga, like what you talking about? It's like she
Yeah.
was really confused, and he was like, nah, like I know, like I like look, I ain't no punk, yo. Don't play games with me.
But
And
the thing is, Rashad, he is a punk. He's a
that's what I'm
wannabe.
saying.
He's a
Like,
wannabe. He's a wannabe. And I would not be surprised if by the end of this series or at some point in this series where Kingpin get backed into a wall and wannabe Kingpin ends up taking the fall for something that he's done.
cause Sheila ain't gonna take the fall.
Yeah.
Sheila's not.
Sheila's not. I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes a patsy. And I think Kingpin knows this. That's why he keeping him around. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep your fanboy ass around. Because you are really glazing me really hard. And I like this, but I think I can use you to my advantage.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody else did that in the city. I forget, not remember who it was, but anyway, yeah,
Hmm.
like that aspect for me is like, cause he's just slimy. He just very, like I want to be the man. Very much similar to how Penguin was when he was a kid, and to that,
Hmm.
to the drug dealer in the neighborhood with the gold Cadillac. But nah,
Hmm.
man, like this episode for me, mm, this could be a like a line of demarcation of sorts. Because if these next two episodes aren't like out the park solid,
Hmm.
then this season really kind of it kind of falters a little bit for me. Because for what they've shown, what they've given us, like I've liked it. Like it's not the series isn't like incoherent. Is even
Hmm.
though it is piece, it's clearly piecemeal together.
Hmm.
We really went in the kitchen and only had, what I'm saying, some eggs, some old meatloaf, and we had some bread. So I had to make an omelet and only had a slice of American cheese. But we made it work. You know what I'm saying? We made it
Hmm.
work. Did you eat? Are,
Hmm.
are you hungry?
Okay.
Did you what?
Hanging in a child line, you know
Exactly,
what
exactly. You
I'm
know what I'm
saying?
saying? So they really, for what they what's the phrase, man? Making chicken salad out of chicken
Chicken
ish. Yeah.
ish.
So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's I feel like they really did that with us. But
But you,
if the next two episodes are weak, then
hmm,
this is an entirely different conversation we're having.
this is what I'm hoping for, Rashad. This is what I'm hoping for. Going back to what you said earlier, of this is supposed to have been an 18 episode season. I am hoping for that there is another big bad in this, someone who's going to cause a problem. And I would be okay if by the end of this season, the reveal is there is a bigger bad person, and that's what the second half of the season, aka season two, is going to deal, it's going to kind of deal with or
Okay,
whatever.
I'm glad you said that. So
Uh-huh.
I was reading earlier that the OG director, showrunner of the Netflix series said
Uh-huh.
his season four, if they did it, was going to be a full Typhoid Mary season. So Typhoid Mary could make a comeback. That storyline for me was it was okay.
Oh.
It. I feel like they could have did more with that. I really do
Uh-huh.
like it was that was a very interesting character.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so they can bring her back. I mean, on the real, we could have a situation where they bring back up Luke Cage and he's having issues in Harlem and this start to spread like spread downtown because he's dealing in drugs and the nightlife and
Right.
all types of nonsense down there. I mean,
You,
there's a lot of ways it can go about this.
right. You've even seen little stuff going on the socials where my man that played Iron Fist was like, "Yo, give me a chance to redeem myself. We don't need you, but hey,
I saw that too. I was like, and shout out to Finn Jones, man. Like,
yeah,
you had a really rough go, and
yeah,
I can't lie. The fact that you would say this in Trump's America, man, God bless you, bro. Like, I'm really surprised you would even say I want to go. I want another crack at the bat, but nah, like yeah.
yeah,
Like, I can't lie. The second season of Iron Fist was not bad.
yeah. Right, right, right.
They did a
That's
much
what
better
the
job.
one with the Steel Serpent, was that Steel Serpent? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and they
Hmm.
had and by the end of the season, Colleen Wing was what you call it was the Iron Fist as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so it's interesting to see what's going to happen. They what I'm saying, Rashad, like I said, me and Rashad are hoping they really cook these last two episodes to kind of give us something or let us know what's going on. But if this just ends up becoming something where, you know, Fisk sends his task force after Daredevil, and we get like a good old fashioned Donnybrook brawl where he taking them out and stuff like that, then they may have missed the mark, or they overshot what they thought, that they was thinking that people were going to be like, yo, we
People
can't wait. You know what I'm saying? The excitement
gravitate
for.
towards.
Right. I'm going to lean more towards there has to be a bigger bad, and maybe the next season is going to be dealing with it, because you think about it too, Rashad. In those Netflix shows, that's always how it was. Remember? It was like the first half of the
Yeah,
season.
yeah,
The first
yeah.
half of the
You're
season,
right. You're
you thought it
right.
was one person, and then the
Yeah,
second half of the season, you're like, "Oh snap! It's somebody bigger and more problematic than this person." And that's what all those little Netflix defender,
but
you know
that's
what I'm
the
saying?
okay. That's the hard part about this because there
Yeah.
was no excuse me. There's no clear indication
Right.
into who that even could be. Like, there's no setup for that. So
Maybe they bring Madame Gal back. I don't.
the hand,
Yeah, I hope not, but
you can go back to Chase too. I mean, sure. Matter of fact, you can bring back anybody. You can bring back Stick.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's,
Stick's looking. Actor that plays Stick is looking mad old now, bro. Trust me.
let's bring back our old Stick and let's let him
Yeah,
just beat up on Matt and call him a
yeah.
pussy again.
Remember
Berating
you
that
made.
kid, yo.
Remember you made me this BS little paper little ring thing. You bitch. Yeah. So.
You wanted a daddy.
You wanted a daddy. I needed a soldier.
You was
I'm a
too.
soldier.
He said you was always soft, boy.
Boy,
I was like,
boy, you was
I was. He
always soft.
said I was 10 years old.
I was 10 years old, man. Like, I ain't had no family. I was 10
Oh
years old. I was in an
man.
orphanage. So,
I
man up,
needed.
son.
I needed soldiers for the war.
All
What
right.
war, Stick?
What stick? Uh,
Nah,
but,
man. But
yeah,
yeah,
y'all.
that's yeah. Yeah. Hopefully that will be the case, or they do something that is like very intriguing because
Mm.
it remains to be seen. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's all we got for this one, man.
indeed.
We will see you guys on next Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Last of Us is next.
Yeah, yeah,
Andor is next.
yeah.
Um, Tales of the Underworld for Star Wars comes
Drop
out
the
on
tra
May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Watch all
Basically, the third season of Tales of
the
from the
Tales of
Star.
the yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Which has been a very fun installment that they've been
yeah,
doing. Now we just need to get Tales of the Sith and we'll be good to go.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Because
was
all they
nice.
did was what Tales of the Empire, right?
Tales
That's
of the
yeah.
Empire. We did Tales
Tales
of
of
the
the Jedi. Tales of the
Jedi.
Jedi was first, then Tales of the Empire, and now we're doing Tales of the Underworld. And the two main characters, it seems, of this one is going to be one Cad Bane,
Cardboard.
Cad Bane, and Asajj Ventress. So that is going to be very interesting with those situations because now knowing that whatever happens is going to be canon.
Yeah,
For
yeah, because we're gonna see like a younger Cad May, and we're gonna see
hmm
what happened in between the end of the Bad Batch
hmm
and when she left
That's right.
left Dooku, because she's still alive in canon. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? So there's gonna be that area that
Right.
they can fill in. So yeah, I'm
Right.
very surprised. Also, they announced that crap before Celebration, so that means they got more stuff to give us in Celebration.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So
Also,
hype.
this past weekend they did Cinecon and they let you know they found out a few things that are dropping. Next year, July 31st, Spider-Man, Brand New Day, the fourth installment will be coming out.
See a brand new day.
Day. And that's actually coming out what a
Yeah,
couple of months after Doomsday. Also Mandalorian and Grogu, got a release date. I think that's sometime in the fall, if I'm not mistaken. Rashad, was I
I don't
tripping?
remember. Yeah,
Right, 26. So a couple of things they said that's coming out, but yeah, probably after the
and
next huh?
Disney's day is tomorrow at CinemaCon, their official day.
Disney Day. We gonna see some stuff
Yeah,
probably for
so
Disney Day
we
or whatever.
might have to hop
Hmm
back on a
Yeah.
Friday just so let y'all know what's
Yeah.
going on. You know what I'm saying? But
Yes.
yeah, but if they drop anything or something like really crazy happens with their slate, then we would definitely we'll talk about it. But
Yes. Yes. Yes.
aside
Yes.
from that, next Wednesday, man. You guys be safe.